Okay, so welcome back to the second part of the lecture. First part was a grueling 40 minutes, but we survived, we thrived. Let's finish off the last bit here. We're up to slide 47 in chapter 1. Competitive challenges influencing human resource management continued. Recognizing and capitalize on the demographics and diversity of the workforce, which is very, very important. Internal labor force, external labor force market. Average age of workforce will increase. Okay, a lot of baby boomers, people born between 1946 and I think 1964, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of those people are still in the workforce, but they will be retiring soon. And there'll be a lot of opportunities to take over those jobs. A lot of workforce diversity, people of different races, nationalities, ethnicities. Immigration will affect size and diversity. America is very liberal still, even though, the media may make you think that people are not immigrating as much, but there is a lot of immigration that goes on. A lot of immigration went on in the past, so the children of these immigrants are looking for work. Generational differences with five generations: Generation X, Y, baby boomers, millennials. Still have some older people that are before baby boomers. Gender and racial composition of the workforce. If you look at figure 1.5, company comparison of the age distribution of 2014 and 2024 labor forces. You see in 2014, 64% were 25 to 54. 2024, it's pretty much the same. There was a 14%, 16 to 24, 11% in 2024, and 55 years and older, not a tremendous amount of growth, but a 3% growth from 2014 to 2024. Not massive change, but definitely some change. Table 1.11, generations of the workforce. 1925 to 1945, traditionalist, silent generation, greater than 72 years old. There are a few people, I have people at work that are 70 plus. Great people to work with, work for, like it. 1946 to 1964, baby boomers, 53 to 72. The reason they're called baby boomers is because people came home from World War II. They had lots of babies because they killed a lot of people in World War II, so it's time to repopulate the world, pretty much. 1965 to 1980, yes, Generation X, 37 to 52, 47, proud of it. 1981 to 1995, Millennials, Generation Y, Echo Boomers, 22 to 36, and 1996, Generation Z, that's pretty much,
What
20.
are we then?
What?
What are we?
How old are you?
21, but I was born
98.
after 96. I was born 99.
Okay, so,
So I'm Generation Z?
yeah,
Okay.
and I'm Generation X. Okay. Figure 1.6, the U.S. workforce in 2024, as far as race is concerned. White, still be 77%. African American, 13%, 6%. Asian, other groups. I'm kind of shocked that I don't see any representation here of people from Hispanic countries, unless they're grouping them together with white. Whatever. I'm not going to get involved in that minutia, but this is what it is according to this opinion, this book. Competitive challenges of influencing human resource management. A workforce of mixed gender, race, and nationality. Diversity of workforce is increasing. Immigration is contributing. The percentage of highly skilled immigrants now exceeds the percentage of low-skilled immigrants. People are not coming to just do low-level, what we call low-level work. All work is necessary, but there's a higher percentage now of immigrants that have higher levels of work knowledge. Now, legal versus illegal immigration, of course, managing a diverse workforce, and this whole legal versus illegal is a massive problem here in America. I don't even want to touch it. I don't want to go into it because it's outside the purview of this course, but it's a massive, massive, massive problem that we have here. Table 1.12, how managing cultural diversity can provide a competitive advantage. Cost argument, as organizations become more diverse, the cost of a poor job in integrating workers will increase. Those who handle this well will thus create cost advantages over those who don't. So if you don't integrate your employees well, it's going to cost you money. Employee attraction and retention argument. Companies develop reputations on favorability as prospective employees for women and ethnic minorities. Those with the best reputations of managing diversity will win the competition for talent. That's why you have companies out there that gauge out, like Glassdoor. You go online, you Google the company, there's a lot of information available. Marketing argument, the insight and cultural sensitivity that diverse employees bring to the marketing effort should help the company enter new markets and develop products and services for diverse populations. You hire a salesperson who is of a certain nationality and they go in and market in that area, they feel comfortable. People feel comfortable working with people that they recognize. So if you have a diverse workforce where people of different nationalities, races, genders, creeds, whatever, you're able to better service your market because the market is very diverse. Okay, let's move on. 4, creativity argument. Diversity in perspectives and less emphasis on conformity to norms of the past improves the level of creativity. Okay, accepting different values, accepting different ways of thinking. I mentioned this in my first class tonight, that if you have people from different backgrounds, they have different ways of looking at problems. So if you have a massively complicated problem, I'm from one country, you're from another country, you're one ethnicity, one race, we all have different ways of looking at things. Together we could solve the problem better. Problem-solving argument, heterogeneity and decision and problem-solving groups potentially produces better decisions through a wider range of perspectives and more through critical analysis of issues. So again, that's what I said pretty much before. System flexibility argument, greater flexibility to react to changes in customer preferences and tastes. Reactions should be faster and, of course, cost less, and cost less of a negative impact, because the slower you react to your customers' needs, the worse the impact is economically. Competitive challenges influencing human resource management, legal issues, employment laws and regulations, eliminating discrimination and harassment, healthcare coverage, immigration, data security practices, and protecting intellectual property. Figure 1.7, principles of ethical companies, emphasizes mutual benefits for its customers, vendor, client, and community relationships. Employee takes responsibility for company actions, a sense of purpose or vision valued and used by employees in their work, emphasizes fairness and treatment of employees, customers, vendors, and clients. Ethical issues. Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002. I love the way this PowerPoint goes through so many different issues. I've seen this in ethics, I've seen this in other areas, sets strict rules for corporate behavior and sets heavy fines and prison terms for non-compliance. This all came out of the whole Enron scandals and all those other wonderful scandals that existed. Imposes criminal penalties for corporate governing and accounting lapses, including retaliation against the whistleblowers, reporting violations of Security and Exchange Commission rules. So people are being protected, and it is creating a general environment where people feel free to open up their mouths and say something if they see something. Human resource managers must satisfy 3 basic standards for their practices to be considered ethical. Number 1, human resource management practices must result in the greatest good for the largest number of people. Employment practices must respect basic human rights of privacy, due process, consent, and free speech. Managers must treat employees and customers equitably and fairly. In your hiring practices, in your firing practices, in disciplining employees, there's a rule for me, it applies to me, it applies to you, regardless of whether I like you, don't like you on a personal level. And that's what makes it very hard to divorce your personal feelings from policies and procedures. Competing through globalization, U.S. business must develop global markets, use their practices to improve global competitiveness, better prepare employees for global assignments. Competing through globalization continued, entering international markets, exporting products and overseas, building manufacturing facilities or service centers in other countries, entering into alliances with foreign companies, engaging in e-commerce and offshoring, and sometimes reshoring, bringing things back. Competing through technology, consider applications of social networking, artificial intelligence, and robotics. Use human resource information system, mobile devices, cloud computing, and HR dashboards. Consider high-performance systems and virtual teams. Figure 1.9, major dimensions of human resource practices contributing to company competitiveness. Manage the human resource environment. Acquire and preparing human resources, assessment and development of human resources, and compensating human resources. Very important, making sure people paid correctly. And of course, that leads to competitiveness. And 3 challenges, as we mentioned before, in the beginning, global sustainability and technology. Figure 1.8 goes through examples of how human resource management practices can help competitiveness. These are all things that we've kind of spoke about, but we could kind of go back on it. Global challenge, human resource strategy is matched to business strategy, knowledge is shared, work is performed by teams, pay system rewards skills and accomplishments, selection system is job related and legal, not based on subjective feelings, flexibility in where and when work is performed, employee engagement is monitored. On the sustainability side, continuous learning and environment is created. Discipline system is progressive. In other words, you don't just fire somebody. You try to prevent things from getting to that point. Somebody comes late to work once. You have a system. You call them over. You can't do this again. You don't just go full bore into it. Customer satisfaction and quality are evaluated in the performance management system. Skills and values of diverse workforce are valued and used. Technology is used to reduce the time for administrative tasks and to improve human resource efficiency and effectiveness. We're almost at the end. Just bear with me. Actually, we are at the end. The rest of the slides from 64 to 69 are from the appendix, and they basically go over more in detail all the figures. For example, they go through figures 1.1, 1.4, 1.5. You can look at those slides. That's kind of the commentary on the figures mentioned above. Any questions or comments? I wish everybody a great night, and thank you for coming to the first class, and be well and have a great evening.